Hello, I'm Adrian from London Camera Exchange and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm looking at the new Fujifilm X-Pro3. But before I go into the specs, I just want to touch on the philosophy behind the camera. I think it's fair to say that the X100 Compact started this range of cameras. Launched in 2011, it was a great combination of traditional photographic features in a digital body with a retro look. It had a proper aperture ring, a shutter speed dial and an exposure compensation dial, and it also had the wonderful viewfinder that could be optical, electronic or hybrid.
The X-Pro1, which was launched a year later, took a lot of those features and incorporated them into the interchangeable lens rangefinder style body. It was the first of the successful X-series range of cameras. It was also the beginning of the XF lenses, which are now 25 in number, with most being primes. The X-Pro1 was all about the photographic experience, and I guess giving the feeling that you were in control of the camera rather than the other way round. The X-Pro1 wasn't perfect, and in particular the autofocus let it down initially, but it gained a loyal following attracted to the photographic experience it offered. The X-Pro2 followed with improvements, but with the same aim, to appeal to traditional photographers.
With the X-Pro3, Fujifilm have taken this one step further, effectively hiding the LCD screen.
This move forces you to concentrate more on taking the pictures rather than relying on the screen for affirmation that you've got the exposure right and that the composition is good. Fujifilm talk of pure photography. So what are the main features? First, we need to examine the build and style of this camera. The look, as we all know, is in the eye of the beholder. And as the general shape is so like the X-Pro2, you'll know whether you're in a favour of this design or not. The main talking point from a design point of view, and what differentiates it from its predecessor, is that the main LCD screen is hidden when it is closed. There is no way it can be seen when it is flush with the body. It hinges at the bottom and needs to be folded down to be viewed. On the back of the main LCD there is a small secondary screen that displays, and I'm not kidding, the end of a film box showing the film simulation mode chosen. If you are old enough to remember the first time round, or young enough to be caught up in the current film revival, you'll know exactly what it looks like. And Fujifilm have even surrounded the small screen with the same black frame that the film SLR cameras had. As with the X-Pro2, this is very much a premium camera, and the build and finish is exceptional. It has the same magnesium body as the X-Pro2, but now with a titanium top and bottom plate. It is weatherproof and is the same weight and pretty much the same size as the X-Pro2. The X-Pro3 comes in 3 different variants: black, or with Dura silver coating, or Dura black coating. And a word about the Dura finish, for which there is a premium to pay. The Duratech process involves passing electric current through hydrogen and carbon gases to diffuse an amorphous carbon coating onto the surface of the titanium. The upshot of this is an extremely hard, smooth, scratch-resistant surface. The Dura coating is harder than quartz. The X-Pro3 now boasts a higher resolution 3.69 million dot OLED electronic viewfinder with a greater contrast, wider colour space and higher eye point. It is also brighter and has a higher frame rate than the previous model. It is certainly very nice to use in optical or electronic mode, and a real improvement on the TFT viewfinder in the X-Pro2. The main screen, the one that hides away, is the same 3-inch 1.62 million dot screen, but this time it is touchscreen for shooting and playback, but not for menu functions. The sensor and processor are straight out of the X-T3, so 26 megapixels, X processor 4 and a base ISO of 160. The quality is not going to be in any doubt as the X-T3 has a proven track record. The sensor and processor are all improvements over the X-Pro2, as are the reduced shutter lag, which is now 0.045 seconds, the increased burst mode to 11 frames a second or 20 frames a second with electronic shutter, and the autofocus now operates down to -6 EV. A new feature in this camera is advanced multi-exposure, where up to 9 shots can be recorded on the same frame. Focus bracketing and in-camera HDR complete the specs. I have always been impressed with Fujifilm's JPEGs images straight out of camera, and you get to choose from the multiple looks offered by the film simulation modes, with the X-Pro3 Classic Neg and monochromatic colour variants have been added. Although I can't see the X-Pro3 being used primarily for video, it has solid video spec with Cinema 4K. It has a microphone input, but with the 2.5mm jack rather than the more common 3.5mm, but it doesn't have a headphone socket. The X-Pro3 is a worthy upgrade to the X-Pro line and will appeal to those photographers who prefer the rangefinder style of camera and who appreciate the fine build and finish on this camera. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe and please ring the bell to get notifications of new videos. And for any more information, please follow the link below or visit your local London Camera Exchange.